Hello everybody, this is my first devlog on the game I'm making called Snowfort Defense, or at least that's what I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a top-down shooter with building and resource gathering. It's going to have a snow theme. My plan for the art style is it's going to be pixel art, probably like something small, like 16 by 16 or 32 by 32 pixel wise, because I'm not a great artist. Anyways, I made a quick demo in Paint, so you can see if you'd be interested in following these devlogs. Also, keep in mind that some of the things mentioned will probably get slightly altered throughout the development of the game. So without further ado, here's the demo. Alright, thank you, previous me. So for the game demo, basically the player will like spawn in their winter themed area. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a snowman or somewhat or something else, but this is the player, and they have this igloo that they want to defend, and there's like these fire monsters that will come every night trying to destroy the igloo. Um, so your goal is to defend the igloo. You can grab snowballs at first and chuck them at the monsters, and they might die, but eventually more monsters will come and they'll get harder to defeat. And so you'll have to rely on the resources around you. So there'll be like a forest nearby with some trees, and there'll be like a mountain with like a mine over here with some minerals and stuff like that. So like that. And so you'll go over during the day before the monsters come and go mine some wood, and you'll go mine some minerals, and then you can come back to your base once you've gotten those and start building some walls for your igloo around, and then you can build some buildings as well. These buildings will like give you different items or help you in some sort of way. Like one of them might give you like a weapon, or one of them might give you some armor. There'll also be houses for these snowmen that can help you out. So you can make these little snowmen, and they need a house, and so you'll build them a house. And then they can help you mine your ores, and they can help you mine wood, and they'll give it to you so they can help you defend your igloo. And they can also help defend against these guys, and you can give them items. So yeah, that's how that will work. And so yeah, the main game loop is during the day you go out and mine stuff, you collect, you build, you upgrade your buildings as well, because that will be an option. Like you can upgrade your walls or upgrade the amount of space the house has in it. And every night there'll be more monsters, they'll get harder, and some nights there'll be like a boss you have to defeat. And so yeah, that's basically the core loop of the game. Alright, so now with that out of the way, it's time to get into the actual devlog. I first started by creating a 2D Unity project and making a Trello board to help me keep track of what I've done, what I'm doing, and what needs to be done. I do that for every project because I feel like it's really helpful to plan out what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. Then I worked on adding some basic movement, starting with the old input system and then upgrading it to the new input system. Next, I worked on creating the shooting script. First, I started by getting the mouse position using the new input system, and then I had a fire location where the projectile would fire from, and I created a little script for that to destroy itself on impact, and later it will do damage, but for right now I'm just trying to implement the basics. After I got that done, I started trying to come up with some basic pixel art character designs, and at first I was really struggling, and it took me a while to get with something to get to something that I was happy with. But eventually I got this decently looking snowman, I think, so I decided to stick with it for now. I'll probably end up changing it later, but I think for now it's pretty good. And then I made some moving animations. I made an animation moving down, up, left, and right. And then I used the animation blend tool in Unity to switch animations. So when they'd move right, it would it would move right and left, and that made it a lot easier. So I didn't have to do a bunch of if-else statements using the animation blend tree. That was very helpful. And then I realized I didn't really want it. Like the player moving in the direction or looking in the direction they're moving all the time, because instead I want them moving towards the mouse because it looks funny if they're just always if they're looking one way and shooting the other. So I added I changed it so it would work with the mouse position instead. And so now they would look at the mouse but they would still move and look like they're moving in the direction that they are, which is pretty cool. So now I can look all around. Currently, the weapon wouldn't really do much because it didn't do any damage, and the player had an infinite number of ammo, and they could shoot as fast as they wanted to. So I created a weapon scriptable object to hold the statistics for each weapon that I'm planning on creating. Right now, I just made like this test weapon, which is just like, throwing snowballs. And I gave it some ammo, to, like time between shots, a reload time, and all that. And I set it up to work with the shooting script, and now I think it works a lot better. I then created a health script so the gun would actually do damage to an object, and now anything that the health script was attached to would take damage and die after the health was all gone. But there's nothing to shoot yet, so I decided to add some enemies using the nav mesh agent system that Unity has, but it only works for 3D. Luckily, H8 Man made nav mesh plus, which basically allows it to work with Unity 2D. So thanks to him for that. So I added that to my project and got it working, and now the enemies will follow me around. Currently, the enemies are just red blobs, so I decided to make some pixel art for them. I made a little fire dude. He's like a blob still, but he looks a little better. And I made him hop around in all four directions. Then I realized that he would rotate to face the player even though the sprite would face towards the player, so I stopped him from rotating and set it so the sprite would face in whatever direction the player was. Finally, I added the ability for the enemy to attack back so it would feel like more of an actual game. So I made them have this little box area that they'd attack in if you got caught in it. And so it's like a little melee box. And I also created a scriptable object just in case I wanted to add more melee weapons in the future or give other enemies different melee attacks and stuff like that. So I added that and attached that to the enemy attack script that I made. And now the enemies will walk towards me and attack me, and I can attack them, and we all have health, and it's starting to feel like an actual game. So, yeah. Alright, so here's some more gameplay in the background while I talk about the rest of the video. So basically this is just my first devlog. I hope it was okay, and I know it wasn't the best, but I plan on, just improving every devlog after I make it, learning from what I can do better. So if you guys have any like comments, just go in the comments and like, type something, say like, oh, your audio is terrible, or oh, your video cuts are terrible, or whatever. Also, if you have any ideas for the game, feel free to tell me. I might add them, I might not, depending on what I think about it. But yeah, feel free to comment. I'm probably gonna make a Discord soon or something like that, so you can join that when I announce that. And besides that, yeah, I hope you like what I've done so far, and thank you so much for watching.